On April 22nd, 1994, Michael Maurer defeats Evander Holyfield to become the very first Southpaw to ever win the heavyweight championship that dates back to 1885. Here's the story behind how Michael Maurer made history today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history every day. Now, you've probably heard the term southpaw before, whether in boxing or in baseball or any other sport where a player is left-handed. The term actually comes from baseball back in the late 19th century, where the diamonds were regularly set up so that right-handed pitchers would face east, avoiding the sun, but a left-handed pitcher would face west, and their throwing hand would then face south, giving them the name southpaw. And the reason why it's used in boxing is for the same left-handed abilities as in baseball. In boxing, being a southpaw means you have your right hand leading and your left hand behind, giving the more powerful punch from your left hand, which is usually your more dominant hand. And it's a little bit more challenging as it's something they're not as used to facing, as there are only roughly 10% of boxers that are actually southpaws. Michael Maurer. Growing up, he was an active kid, and his mom got him involved in any sport she could. And at the age of 10, Maurer's grandfather, who was a former New York Gold Glove champion, took Maurer under his wing to teach him boxing, and he taught him the southpaw strategy, despite not being left-handed, making a challenge for other fighters and giving him a stronger cross punch than many other competitors. And Michael quickly took to the training his grandfather was giving him, and in 1986 became the national champion in the light middleweight class. And while he was still an amateur, he would train at Stuart Crunk's gym, and he would continuously beat professionals while he was still an amateur. And he was able to get a bronze medal at the Goodwill Games and finish his amateur career with a 48-16 record. And when he turned 18, he was finally able to turn pro, and he made his debut as a light heavyweight on March 4th, 1988, when he knocked out Adrian Riggs in the very first round. And he wasn't done on his terror to start his career, because before the end of his first year as a professional boxer, he won 11 bouts, all by knockout. And the next year, he would go on to fight for his first world title. In 1989, the WBO created their very first light heavyweight title, and he went into a 5-round bout with Ramirez Hassan, where he won his very first title. And he was able to retain this 6 more times, including beating former WBA champion Leslie Stewart. And into 1990, he would retain that title 3 more times before the end of the year. But Michael struggled with his weight and struggled to make weight many times in his career. So he eventually made his way up to the heavyweight division. And in 1991, he officially moved to the heavyweight division, facing much stronger and bigger competitors. And in doing so, he actually vacated his WBO light heavyweight championship, as it was thought to be lesser than the WBA championships. And he made his way to fight Brett Cooper in his first fight for the heavyweight championship, as the WBO heavyweight belt had been vacated. But in the 5th round, both fighters went down and got hurt in the bout, and neither were awarded the belt. And he would continue to fight all the way up till April 22nd, 1994, when he got his first chance at the WBA and the IBF heavyweight titles, facing Evander Holyfield. At the time he came into the fight, he was 35-0, and Evander Holyfield came into the fight 30-1, and this was his first title defense, as he had just won the title back in November of 1993 from Riddick Bowe. But the fight didn't go as expected. Holyfield coming in, was the favorite and came in blasting Maurer and even sent him to the canvas 2 times during the match. But despite going down twice, Maurer took over the fight in a shocking upset decision, was given the victory, and he had hurt Holyfield so bad that he had to be hospitalized after the fight due to dehydration, a rotator cuff injury. His kidneys were bruised, and there was a large amount of liquid in his lungs. Due to all the injuries, Holyfield actually announced his retirement after the fight. Although he would return to boxing later, it just goes to show you how much Michael Maurer dominated Evander Holyfield to become the first ever Southpaw to win the heavyweight title. The heavyweight title has been around since the 1880s, and it has never been won by a Southpaw. But this victory, sadly, did not last very long, as Maurer took his next fight versus a legend, George Foreman, who at the time was 45 and had just come back out of retirement. And despite him continuously barraging George Foreman with blow after blow after blow and round after round, Foreman came out in the 10th round and laid multiple haymakers on Maurer, with one getting him square on the chin, gashing his bottom lip open, and having him collapse onto the canvas, knocking him out and losing his first defense of his world title, and making George Foreman the oldest fighter to ever win a heavyweight title. But Maurer wasn't done. He continued to get back on track. And by June 1996, he was able to win back the IBF heavyweight title and held that title until 1997, when he lost to Evander Holyfield, who he had beaten originally for the title. He continued to fight after this, never getting a chance at the heavyweight title again, but he did actually move up in weight class again, as he did struggle with his weight. But he continued to have success, and his final fight was on February 8th, 2008, where he knocked out Shelby Gross, giving him a final boxing record of 52-4-1. Michael Maurer will go down in history as being the first Southpaw to ever win the heavyweight title. And he actually became a heavyweight champion 3 times, which is a rare feat in the boxing world. His historic achievement as the first Southpaw heavyweight champion is a testament to the power and perseverance of breaking down boundaries. Throughout his career, he faced adversity head-on, defying expectations and proving that greatness has no bounds. Just because something has never been done doesn't mean it can't be done now. And if you thought this episode was great, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening so you don't miss another great episode of Daily Sports History.